Greetings to Dr. Muhammad, and my name is Mishani, daughter of Pushpanagan. Today I'll be presenting about the remote simultaneous interpreting that I did for this project. So let's go to the introduction part. So what is remote interpreting? Remote interpreting refers to the use of communication technologies to connect with an interpreter who is not in the same place as the parties involved. The chosen video for this project is titled Situasi Terkini Case COVID-19 di Malaysia from Berita ATM YouTube channel. The video length is 1 minute 19 seconds, which was conducted from Malay language to English language. The news basically talks about the current situation of COVID-19 cases that is happening in Malaysia. So this slides includes the interpreting mode and techniques, the difficulties of the interpreting session, and the student's viewpoint. So let's go to the discussion number 1, which is interpreting mode and techniques. The given interpreting mode for this project is simultaneous interpreting. Simultaneous interpreting is the process of translating what the speaker is saying from one language to another language at the same time. Interpreters usually sit in a booth and listen to what the speaker is saying through a headset or any other equipment during these simultaneous interpreting sessions. Besides that, simultaneous interpreting mode also can be used for other types of interpreting, such as conference interpreting, judicial interpreting, public sector interpreting, and much more. So, the first interpreting technique is good listening. Good listening is playing a crucial role in the simultaneous interpreting. Good listening technique has to be practiced by every interpreter as it allows the interpreter to understand what the speaker is talking about and its meaning. Not only that, interpreters will be able to prevent missing out any crucial points and information by practicing a good listening skill. Secondly is focus and concentration. Focus and concentration needs to be developed and mastered because they need to interpret real time, which is interpreting at the same time as the speaker is speaking. Interpreters have to think quickly about the equivalence and the correct terms that needs to be interpreted in target language while listening to the speaker speaks. Besides that, interpreters are also able to avoid any sudden starts as well as stops and long pauses from happening when interpreting, as they will be able to remember and think quickly what needs to be interpreted by mastering this technique. And the last technique is having knowledge in both the source and target languages. Having knowledge in both source and target languages is a compulsory technique for this simultaneous interpreting. For instance, in terms of the vocabulary, grammar, sentence structure, and so on. It is because interpreters can think of the terms and sentence structure quickly as they have knowledge in advance. Moreover, it will be like an early preparation for the interpreter before the real interpreting session. So let's move on to the second discussion, which is the difficulties of the interpreting session. So during the interpreting session, I had a very noisy environment and internet connection, which is not very stable. So I had to change places several times to find a suitable background and place, as well as for good internet connection, since it's essential for remote interpreting. Also, the interpreting session was quite stressful for me, and it was difficult to maintain and appropriate face expression, tone, intonation, and body language while I struggled to focus and concentrate. My voice was very inconsistent when interpreting, as it was both low and high at times. In addition, I also skipped, paused, and stopped at the middle of the recording, resulting in multiple video recording at times. So basically, it was hard for me to listen and interpret what the speaker said into the target language at the same time, but I managed to do it successfully after several attempts. So let's move on to the discussion number 3, which is viewpoint, the student's viewpoint. So I would say that I had a fantastic experience through this project, and I was also able to have an idea about RSI, which is remote simultaneous interpreting, in terms of the required speed, which is how to maintain a decent speed time, which is not very slow or not very fast between the speaker and the interpreter during the interpreting session. I must say that it was brainstorming and was critical thinking during the interpreting session, as I need to catch up with the video, listen to what the speaker is talking, and interpreting it in the target language. In order to conduct and provide faithful interpreting for both the parties and the audience involved, practicing practicals and more experience are required for this kind of interpreting mode. And I would say that gaining more experience exposes oneself to a variety of perspectives, situations, and platforms, resulting in faithful interpreting and work quality that is recognized as good performance. Overall, I was able to complete the interpreting successfully despite the lack of confidence and stress at the start. However, I learned a lot from this. However, I learned a lot from different perspectives, such as the timing, the required facial expressions, the importance of mastering both the source and the target languages, the importance of using the first pronouns, and so on during the video recording attempts. Thus, this project assisted me in gaining an understanding of how I should perform when interpreting and what I needed to improve on in order to give an even more better performance. So, the conclusion. To summarize, remote simultaneous interpreting RSI happens through communication technology when the interpreter and the parties involved are not at the same place. It requires a lot of practicing and learning in order to give a good output, as aforementioned. And I had my first experience through this project, which is not quite a bad for my first time. So what new knowledge have I gained by doing this project? I gained knowledge like maintaining a reasonable time when interpreting. I learned and experienced about how the interpreters would think, specifically their critical and problem-solving thinking in situations when interpreting in real time. As an example, I decided to explain one of the source languages terms in the target language because I could not find an equivalence for the term in the target language. Thus, I applied critical and problem-solving thinking during the interpreting session. Other than that, I also learned how confidently an interpreter should interpret during an interpretation. So secondly, how do I relate it to what I have learned in this course? I would say that when I was interpreting, I followed the code of ethics of interpreters, which is introducing myself, telling what languages is going to be used in the interpreting section. Using first pronouns, and so on. Furthermore, I used some theories that I learned in the course when interpreting, which is paraphrasing techniques, Newmark's translation theories and methods, and so on. Finally, I realized and experienced how interpreters will work based on the interpreting type and mode, as well as in specific situations. Therefore, I had and gained an interesting and wonderful experience as a result of this project. Not only that, but I also learned a lot from various perspectives through this project, which is a great start and which will be benefiting me in the future. So that's all from me. Thank you.